back to my channel. My name is Maylene Call. I am a first grade teacher in Middle Tennessee, and I'm so glad you're here today. We're going to be talking about what is inside my field trip bag. Now, obviously, there is a lot of work that goes into field trips and prepping field trips and planning for field trips, but I'm just going to show you the basics of what I take on just a normal field trip. Obviously, certain field trips you're gonna need certain things, but I'm just gonna show you all of the basics I keep in my bag so that it is ready to go. So first of all, my bag is from the Target dollar spot. I think it was like $5, and the reason I take this with me on a field trip is just because it's light. It's a drawstring bag. There is not much to it, and I take something like this instead of a normal backpack because I'm the type of person who, if you give me a backpack, I will fill it up. So I want to be as comfortable as possible on the field trip. I don't need to weigh myself down with a ton of things. And if I bring a normal size backpack, you bet I'm gonna find every little thing to fill it up. So having this is nice because it just forces me to take the necessities only. So necessity number one is hand sanitizer. I actually have two in here. I have just a basic gel hand sanitizer, and then I have a spray hand sanitizer. I use the spray one because it's a lot easier for your kiddos. You can just give them a squirt or two, they rub it in, they're good. I feel like it's a lot easier than using the gel, but hand sanitizer is an absolute must. I do keep my hand sanitizer on the outside of the bag, and then on the inside, oops, is where I keep everything else. And like I said, this doesn't store a ton, but I don't need a ton. And I do want to mention the only other thing I take with me that I did not mention this time, other than like chaperone lists and things like that, is any medical equipment that my students might need. Okay, so the first thing in here is just a folder. It is just a basic paper folder that I had left over, and then on the inside I keep a parent contact list. If you own my planner, it's the list that I keep in my planner. I just made a copy of it. So this is what the top looks like. I can't show you much else because it has contact information, but it basically has all of my students' names, the parent guardian I need to contact, their phone number, and their email. So I have the parent contact list on paper in my folder, but I also take a picture of this list and keep it on my phone, and that way I have it no matter where I am, what I'm doing, I have that list with me at all times, which is really, really important. Another thing I keep just in case, I've never needed this, but is a copy of all of their permission slips. I just binder clip it and put it in the folder, and then I just use this folder, like I said, if I have chaperone lists or things like that, it'll go in here. Okay, the next thing I keep are sunglasses. These sunglasses are from Amazon. I think they were like $15, but they're my favorite. That's what they look like. They're really simple, really basic, but you have to have sunglasses when you go on a field trip. Next is something I actually left in this bag that I should have taken out, but I forgot. So a bottle of water. One of my team teachers actually gave this to me on the day of the field trip because I forgot to bring a bottle of water. So I hope you guys were not expecting anything glamorous to be inside my field trip bag, but this is literally just tissues. And I know a lot of people carry the little packs of tissues, and that's fine, but I didn't have a little pack of tissues, so I just put tissues in a plastic bag because kids have boogers and yeah, don't want to deal with that. So I bring tissues, and then I also bring a bag with bags in it, because if you have a dirty tissue and you don't have anywhere to put it, you're gonna need a bag to put it in. And also you just need bags for random things anyway, so I keep a bag of bags. Bag inception. There's more bags. I keep a bag in a bag again, but this bag is for something different. I keep a shirt with it. Can you guess what it's for? It's if a kid throws up. This is actually one of my just extra shirts that I have, and the reason I bring my shirt is because my shirts will fit my children. So I bring a shirt that's big enough to fit even my biggest child. That way, if that child happens to throw up, I for one have a bag in case they need it on the bus, and for two, I have a shirt in case they get it on themselves. I just feel like that would be a really, really helpful thing to have. But luckily, I haven't had a kid throw up on a bus or on a field trip yet, so we have had luck so far. And then going along the lines of sickness, I actually keep a bag of peppermints in my field trip bag. This is something, like I said, most of these things, they just stay in my bag for me to use on field trips. That way, if a kid tells me beforehand, oh my goodness, Ms. Call, I feel like I'm sick, I can just give them. I don't actually know the science behind sucking on mints if you feel sick, but I know that it works for me because I actually get a little motion sickness when I am on a school bus, so I keep this just in case a child comes up to me or raises their hand on the bus and says, oh my goodness, Miss Call, I think I'm gonna throw up. We're gonna avoid that situation by any means necessary. Next up, I bring baby wipes, and baby wipes are seriously at the top of my list for field trips. They come in handy more than you would imagine. Mostly I use them for after kids are finished eating their lunch. I will have them just come throw their trash away and I will hand them a wipe. They will go, they will wipe their hands, they'll wipe the area they were eating at if we were inside, and then I will go back in, of course, with my hand sanitizer. But they are so convenient to have, and they are a huge help, especially because on field trips, kids bring things like Cheetos, and we all know what happens when we eat Cheetos. The next thing I have is just something for myself. This is hand lotion. I absolutely hate having dry hands, so bringing a little hand lotion for me is a must. The last thing in my bag is just a time filler, and I highly recommend bringing a time filler on your field trips because you just never know. Like, for some reason things never go according to schedule, but the second you take kids away from that structure, things can go kind of crazy. So I really recommend bringing some kind of time filler. I bring Rhyme Magic. This is not the whole kit, this is just 2 parts of the kit, and I keep it in a bag just to protect it a little bit. But this actually came in handy on the last field trip we went on because we had just eaten lunch and there was a space of time where we were not allowed to go to the theater, which is where our field trip was. And so I had to fill this time, and it was a bunch of kids in one big room, and I just pulled all of my kids to me and we just started working on Rhyme Magic, and it was fantastic. It definitely is something that my kids like to do, which is important. No matter what you do, it should be something fun. It shouldn't just be like strictly educational, but the good part about Rhyme Magic is it is educational, and my kids really love it. So it starts off with vowels and all of that, and then it goes into these Rhyme Magic cards. Starts with a vowel and then there's a consonant. Basically it teaches them to recognize the rhyme in a word. I'm not gonna get too into depth in this video because I plan to do a whole video on it, but I just kind of wanted to give you a sneak peek because I get a lot of questions about it. So once they get to this step, they would go it, and then you could start spelling CVC words. So I would just use my finger as a placeholder. They would spell mop, M-O-P, mop. Then you could start working on blends. So they could do the word flop, F-L-O-P, flop. And then you would add endings. So we could spell flop-E. So we'd spell F-L-O-P-P-Y. And Rhyme Magic teaches them all the steps and everything they need to know to spell those words. So I bring this set and this set. This set is a little bit different. You just cover up, you show them only the rhyme first, then the blend at the beginning, and then the ending. It's something my kids really like to do, and I know I get a lot of questions on it, so I just kind of wanted to give you all a little preview about that. But that is absolutely everything that I keep in my field trip bag. Like I said, it's really simple. You don't need to bring 1,000 things with you on a field trip. You just need the basics. So this is what I bring. If there is something that I didn't mention that you think is a necessity for you, would you mind dropping that down in the comments, because I'm sure other people could benefit from hearing that as well. I will give you guys one quick little tip since you stayed all the way till the end of the video, and that is to put your class roster on the back of your lanyard. You can just print it really tiny and hot glue it to the back of your lanyard. That's what I did on my very first field trip because it was at the beginning of the year. I hadn't had my class roster fully memorized yet. Now I can really quickly go through my students and their numbers and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to like 20 or 21 and know all of my kids really quickly. And I do have my class list in my folder on my phone if I ever did need it for something, but make sure you bring a class list, especially if you do not have your students 100% memorized. It will make your life so much easier. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys being here. It is so much fun to be a part of this huge teaching community, so thank you. If you're not already subscribed, I hope you consider clicking that red subscribe button down below, and I will talk to you guys next time.